Sam, you're one of the, I think, sharpest growth marketers I've ever met. Talking about like first customers and like doing crazy stuff when nobody knows you. Can you talk us through an example where you did something truly unconventional and it worked?
Sure. So I alluded to it before in the fun fact portion. Back in the early days of Lemonade, we wanted to tackle the market of college students. Like, it's a huge market. We weren't focused on it at all. We were always focused on like millennials and cities, and our competitors weren't there. And we didn't have the budget to do any brand awareness. And we also didn't believe in it at the time. Everything we did had to be measurable. Every dollar we invested, we needed to see the ROI on it and measure it. But in order to even get a college student to care about renter's insurance or to think about it or to consider buying it, like, you need to get their attention somehow. And I decided that we should do something in person, which we also never did before. Everything else was digital in terms of marketing and advertising. So we went through a lot of options about like, what can we give them that's gonna make them interested? And like, what is insurance? Like, it protects you, it covers you. So what do they care about protecting? So there were a lot of ideas like phone covers and sunblock and coasters for their drinks. And ultimately we created these like door hangers that we hung on like 20,000 doors of college students that said, protect your junk, with a pink lemonade condom underneath. And then like you lift up the condom and there's a QR code to get a quote, and it said like, with Lemonade Renters Insurance. So that was the campaign, and basically we decided we needed to be creative, and obviously, how do you measure this? We tracked, like, we had a list of 20,000 addresses, so we could measure if somebody got a quote, if somebody bought a policy, we knew if they got a door hanger. We measured the level of brand searches, like we chose a few different schools, one in Arizona, one in California, one in Texas. We measured like before the campaign and after the campaign, how many people were searching for Lemonade in those areas, how many site visits we got. And yeah.
This is so good. Like, retrospectively, you can say, okay, it worked. We can see it through various brand awareness metrics. But just like we said before, you must fail to succeed, and you must like try, and knowing that you might fail. So what was your thought process about the possible failure here? Like, what were the risks, and what would have you done in case of failure?
So there were a ton of risks. The first being that I was going to look like an idiot in my early days working there to the founder, which I really didn't want to happen. The other risk was that they would never let us do a campaign like this, like any out-of-the-box campaign that's not measurable by traditional standards again. There's also the risk of we had no control over like what the creative was going to look like. They wouldn't let us fly there to actually put the door hangers on ourselves, so we had to hire a vendor to do it. Then there was the insurance risk, that like insurance is very risky in general. So if somebody buys a policy and something happens and we don't cover the accident for whatever reason, it's a huge risk. And I should also add that like Lemonade doesn't cover dorm rooms, only off-campus housing. So if we by accident like put a door hanger on a dorm room and then somebody bought a policy and filed a claim, we would be in trouble. And as they told me at the time, like, Daniel will go to jail. So that was the other risk.